Look.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Factual Friday, even though we have a special one in store for you guys today. Everybody know that do not go bash this creator or go after him in any way. You know, we have a disclaimer in the video itself too. There's a lot of different views. Here's somebody that we are usually completely opposite of. So we will see what comes of it and what we can do tonight.
We'll see if LongWalker can keep his monk-like stance on this.
Yes.
Not getting too heated.
So namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and let's begin this. Okay, full screen.
Okay, here we go. Focus. Speed. I am speed. 42 losers. I eat losers for breakfast. Breakfast? Maybe I should have breakfast. Oh, brekkie could be good for me. No. Stay focused. Speed. Faster than fast, quicker than quick. I am lightning.
Hey, London, you ready?
Hola, conocí en un taxi, en camino al club. Yo la conocí en un taxi, en camino al club. Me lo paró el taxi, me lo paró el taxi, me lo paró. I'm sorry, really sorry. No, it's my fault.
It's your fault.
Yeah, I know it's my fault. That's why I'm saying sorry.
She thinks it's cute that her driver almost hit my kids. And she thinks she needs to take a video of it. Instead of apologizing like a saint.
So stopping in the middle of the road is going to help?
You being a bitch is going to help? I don't know, calm down.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
He apologized.
It's my fault.
He apologized.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? If that didn't upset me, if the bitch ass hoe
Sorry.
that told me to calm down, what I'd like you to do is apologize instead of being a bitch.
You're sorry, but you're calling me a bitch. So set an example.
I'm sorry. My kids can't hear me calling you a bitch.
Your window's open.
They can't hear me because they're listening to Kids Stuff.
Oh yeah. Lightning's red.
Everything is just fine. Why? Because she makes wine.
Attitude? Sucks dick.
Hey, David.
So yes, as you saw, that was that person that we are covering today that was in drag.
Yeah, their main thing is being a drag queen.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to do like social, political commentary and stuff.
So yeah, I mean, at least they tried.
It started off. I found them because the Matt Walsh thing. They were covering Matt Walsh, and they didn't even know what Matt Walsh was or anything about him, and it was pretty comical.
But you have to do research to be a creator.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if this guy's married. He's like, I feel sorry. Somebody go, if he's married, go check up on the wife because I mean, he's pretty misogynistic. And he's like, I mean, if he has a daughter, you know, then it's like he does. He does have a daughter, and he is married.
He's got a great family.
Yeah, it's like he's got 6 kids, I guess.
Does he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because he did a tweet. He said, repopulating the earth most effectively. But that one was like 30 minutes. Most of his stuff was like 25 minutes. So it's. I gave you one that's going to be kind of surprising to you, but.
Next one's 21 minutes.
Yeah.
So
it's probably going to take most of your time. If you get through that one, he does have another one talking about his perspective on pornography. He doesn't think
Porn.
he doesn't think it's a problem. So
Yeah.
go ahead, have fun.
But that's the problem with the drag. Because they allow kids to go to it also.
That was kids' thing.
I know.
I mean,
That, you know, they allow kids to be there. And so therefore, because they're doing that, they don't see the issue with porn.
no. And he will bring up a lot of religious counterpoints and stuff and be like, oh, well, that's just like you believe in some kind of sky fairy. And it's like, you and I are like pagans. We come to the same conclusion. It's just a base morality that you know in your heart of hearts right and wrong. And it doesn't really have much to do with the Bible or anything. You know, it's just right and wrong. That the Bible happens to collaborate that. Or
it does, yeah.
That, you know. But
and they're finding a lot of the stories from the Bible to be accurate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is.
They're finding the cities. They're finding
exactly. You know, so he does try to throw that in there, saying, "Well, it's like just because they're religious, it's not. Just because they're religious. We're not religious as far as Christianity goes. We would come to the same conclusion.
Exactly.
You know, and science.
Yes.
This stuff up, especially regarding pornography. You can say pornography, but
okay.
if you say it the other way, because otherwise it's just.
I don't want to shut off.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hello, babies, and welcome back to my channel. My name is David. You know that, I know that, and welcome to my series called Dismantling Hate, the series where I, your host David, walks you through some hateful online rhetoric. Today, we are going to be reacting to Here's Why the LGB is Different from the TQ+. E-Class! This was published on YouTube by a creator of the name Amir Odom. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation, but before we get started here, if you like the sound of my voice.
Another great creator. And I mean, Amir is also a void gay, right?
Oh yeah. He's like way out there.
And he's a great, really good creator that we follow. And have we ever shown any of his stuff here?
Oh yeah.
I thought so.
Like there's very, very little I disagree with him on, and he does tend to lean to the right a little bit, but he cites his sources using like Grounded and everything. I think that he's pretty good. He's a pretty good creator and really honest viewpoints.
Yes, exactly.
He doesn't like kids at pride events. He doesn't like the drag queen thing, and he's
he loves the drag queen thing.
Even
not for kids.
Right,
He's like, it's no place for kids. But he says he goes to them as an adult.
Yeah, he says that he'll just like get buck wild and go crazy. So, but what you see on YouTube is like a professional thing, and what he represents as a human is a professional thing, and then he's got his wild side.
Yeah.
But this guy will even slam him, saying, "Well, I think I have more experience than him." In this area. It's like I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Voice and are interested in this other kind of content from me, make sure to see the playlist of Dismantling Hate here on my YouTube channel. You have landed yourself on episode 19. This is my third video here putting the same face on because it's taking me so long because I have to stop every 8 seconds. Please do not participate in the culture of hate by going to these creators' profiles and leaving them hateful comments. You can ask clarifying questions, you can be critical, you can be assertive and maybe even a little bit spicy, but do not attack their personal character. That doesn't do anything. Don't be hateful to people.
Well, it's very nice of you to say, David.
We may not have Michelle Obama's arms, but we do have her attitude because when they go low, we go high. It's 10 minutes. I can't wait to see what happens. I just need to do the stones on the other part of my eye, do my forehead, lashes, and lip. Oh God, I hope I can do this in 10 minutes because
that's the heartbreaking part. I'm so blissfully unaware.
Here we go.
It seems like the last 3 to 5 years, gay relations within the United States have been plummeting, and there's a clear answer why: the TQ+. The LGB has nothing to do with the TQ+ community.
Oh God. Okay. Well, first of all, yes, it does, because the trans community and the gay community, as if you were going to label them separately, but if you were to, there is an incredible amount of overlap, not even currently, but with the history of trans rights and gay rights in North America and all over the world. And separating them is kind of hateful, it's harmful, it does nothing. But it's like, what does gay relations mean too? Like, let's go back here, that really quick graph we saw. Monthly counts of anti-queer demonstrations in the US. Oh, so he's saying that there's more anti-queer demonstrations happening in the US. All right.
Plummeting, and there's a clear answer why: the TQ+.
I don't think that's not the clear. Well, cite your sources, Betsy. Like, that's not clear. It's not clear to me. Is it clear to you? Anyway.
LGB has nothing to do with the TQ plus community. The LGB is strictly biology and sexuality, and the TQ plus is all identity and expression of the personality. They have nothing to do with each other. It's hard making sense of the world that we live in today when the TQ plus is saying women have bulges.
We all just normalize women having bulges.
Don't you dare bring up Dylan Mulvaney in this. So Dylan Mulvaney rose to popularity, I believe, on TikTok, but Dylan is a trans woman. What do you get about being hateful to somebody like Dylan? Women have bulges, and there are men that don't have bulges. This is TERF territory, girls. So if you don't know what TERF means, that means trans exclusionary radical feminists. Dylan Mulvaney gets a lot of that hate, and it's very upsetting.
Biological men don't exist.
There's no such thing as biological men. That's not a real thing. That is a transphobic dog whistle.
And we can't even define what a woman.
But again, you're cherry picking here the things that he is choosing to say. This is really hard to. It's really hard to do these stones while I'm talking.
What is a woman? I don't think it's like defined. I think if somebody identifies as a woman, then they are a woman.
Yes, absolutely. Women and men, this idea of gender.
That we can disagree on. The gender is very, very clear on the parts.
Yeah, it's like sexual. The sex is what you're born with, and gender has now over the past 20 years become what you more align with. But they are still putting those things together.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're saying, my biology doesn't dictate if I'm a man or a woman, but then they turn around and get gender reassignment surgery as if, having a penis attached to you makes you a man.
So why would you do that if that wasn't an issue?
Exactly.
So, what they say and do is completely different.
Right.
There is a completely social construct. And but honestly, at the end of the day, what do you get? What benefit do you personally garner from excluding people from a gender role, even if you think it's not a choice and it's some elective, like I just woke up one day and decided to be a woman? What's the motivation for saying no to that? Why do you care? It's weird that you care.
Speaking of making sense of the world we live in, I want to thank Atlas VPN for protecting me in the online world that we live in.
Okay, he cares because it affects him as a person. As a content creator and as an actual person of being, it affects him. The TQ community has come along, and there are some that are true to it. Nobody's denying that, but there are some that are false and that are just ruining the name for what they are.
Yeah. So when you say as a gay man, when he's going out in public and he says, "Yeah, I'm gay," they're automatically now, everybody on the outside is starting to associate that with the trans and all the craziness and stuff. So yeah, it does affect him.
It does.
And as a woman, people like that, like the trans community, affect me because they're coming into our spaces. If they're passable, like I said, there's always been men in women's bathrooms. We just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But like him, he's got a full beard. And then there's trans people that have full beards.
Dylan.
No, I think he's got like the feminine look, but there's ones with full beards that say that they identify as women and they're going into like locker rooms and going into women's bathrooms.
Exactly.
And it's like they're not even trying.
I know.
But they just have to say that they identify.
Yeah, they're saying that they identify just to get away with it. Pretty much.
So it's like that's why we feel like we're to exclude these kinds of people.
Exactly.
We live in, and not just me.
That is absolutely bonkers. So you heard it here first. Do not buy Atlas VPN. That's ridiculous. I'm actually really shocked that they supported this man.
The LGB has nothing to do with the TQ plus. The LGB is sexuality, and the TQ plus is identity. You can't deny.
Okay, so the differences between identity and sexuality, sure, there are differences there, but that doesn't mean they have nothing to do with each other.
Two completely separate groups. One has everything to do with who.
But not really. Why can't you be in both? I have a gender identity and I have a sexual identity, and every human being has both of those things. So why do they have to be inherently separate? They exist within relation to each other, but they don't inform each other.
With, and another has everything to do with how that person presents themselves, what their personality is like, if they're suffering gender dysphoria, a whole ball of things. And don't forget TQ plus, that plus being an additional thing that just keep adding to the list. LGB, clearly defined, we know what it is, we know what it stands for, and it's done. The TQ plus is not.
And it's done? What does that mean? This language is weird.
Note, biology matters. There's male and there's female, and the LGB is rooted and depends on biology to even exist. The definition of a homosexual is to be sexually attracted to one's own sex. The definition of a heterosexual is to be attracted to the opposite sex. The definition of bisexuality is to be attracted to both sexes. Again, male and female. Sex is biology.
Okay.
Culture. It's not how someone presents themselves. It's not about what gender someone says they are. It's literally biology. The only way you can change it is by creating new words and changing the definition. And that's exactly what the TQ plus side of things are doing. The erasure of women. Content creator Savannah Edwards summed this up really well. The use of cisgender terms has nothing to do with male and female. It has everything to do with affirming a trans person's identity. In order for the phrase trans women are women to make sense, you have to change what women mean. Let's dive into this. So we have female, which is...
Oh my God, I love I love it in the worst way. This is harmful. I wasn't expecting to find something like this so quickly, but yeah.
Woman. And then you have a girl, which is a biological female child. And then you have a woman, which is a biological female adult. Very cut and dry. It's been this way for forever. But now...
The mental gymnastics. Okay, so you have a female who has the chromosomal female, who is a biological female, and then so girls and women are female, and then you break down the woman, so you have cis women and trans women. I don't understand why girl is in there, though. Okay.
Have a cis woman, which is a biological woman that identifies as a woman, and you have trans woman, which is a biological man that identifies as a woman. And we've effectively turned woman into an identity, and we've stripped biology away from
it. But wouldn't woman be the identity? And like, if we're focusing on the biological aspect, like, I'm not a trans woman, so I can't really speak on this specifically, but I would have a hard time believing that a trans woman would be harping on the idea, saying that they're a biological female. I don't think that's the argument.
Including female. So female isn't even biology anymore. It's just an identity. And the problem that we have is we have a growing subset of biological women, just women, that's what we used to call them, women, getting upset because they are not an identity. Being a woman is not an identity. It's their reality. This is their reality.
Why isn't your identity is your reality, is it not?
No, it's not. The reality is what the biology states of what you are. With a lot of the trans, you get into a lot of mental illness and going that way. It's
reality is reality, not how you perceive it. It's not how you perceive it that makes it reality. You can't change things just because you see them a different way.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Namaste. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, you were born a male or a female. It wasn't just some doctor came up and said, "Oh, you're gonna be a male even though you got female parts."
Right.
No, it's the look and okay, you are a male. You are a biological male.
Even before birth.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you can tell before birth.
You can.
It's like, you know, the girls all have their eggs done by the time of 4 months of gestation.
Yes.
And the boys' testicles drop around, 15 to 20 weeks or something. And start forming their parts and everything. You can tell before they're even born. And you can tell long after death.
Yes, you can. And it's like, I love Amir's work. I mean, he really puts a lot into his work. With what he does and what he says and notes.
And he does bring facts.
He does. You know? He's got that one page too that he uses. It's
the middle ground.
Grounded.
Yeah. That's right. But if you're wondering what he's doing with his makeup, he's trying to shove all this stuff into the pores and everything to make it smoother.
He's like pounding his head.
It's a little aggressive.
It's because he's confused.
Yeah. Right,
you can see that in him.
Agitate him
yeah.
And one of these though, he has really, really pretty eye makeup. I have to say, it's really nice, and I'm gonna probably snipe that look. But I'm not really sure what this look is here. It's very, 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 very.
Yeah, I don't know.
This would be the kind of person that like makes the joke of like, I identify as Korean. I identify as a 19-year-old, and I'm like 27. It's like, it's just. What do you get out of making these distinctions? Like, what's the point? What's the subtext here?
Because that's exactly what they are doing.
That's how it sounds to us.
Yes. You know, it's like, oh, identify as Korean when you know it, I'm not. Well, okay. And then there's a man saying I identify
Very
as a
clearly,
female when
yes.
he's got male parts. I mean, it's the same thing.
I said so many of them like have full beards and stuff. You know, it's like they don't even try, and it's like they just have to say it, and it's like, that's how you look to us. It looks as ridiculous as coming up and saying I identify as, you know, like if you're saying I was like a black guy, you know, saying it sounds exactly the same. It sounds just as ridiculous to us.
It does.
As that does to them.
It really does. Yes.
Like
if they are a woman.
Well, I guess the subtext is transphobia. That's what it. But like, why? Why is this person specifically focused on this? This is why.
Woman and being a female is not about an identity. It is their existence. This is why some women find offense with Dylan Mulvaney, because Dylan Mulvaney started their career making a mockery off of every woman and all the stereotypes that they have.
Dylan Mulvaney was just sharing her, but like Dylan Mulvaney is not out here creating a mockery of women. Dylan Mulvaney is just an online creator who's sharing their experience in the same way that their cisgender counterpart would be. Yes, their content is focused on their trans identity, but like their content is focused on their identity, period. And so many content creators use the lens of their personal experience in their content, and that's not weird.
Of being a girl, and I've already cried 3 times. I received an email that I did not send. I've ordered dresses online that I couldn't afford.
So I do understand why somebody could think that this would be like misogynistic, of like looking at this and like Dylan is just reducing women to crying and ordering dresses online. Like I can understand that perspective, but like ultimately that might have been Dylan's experience. So then why can't she share it? You know what I mean? Like it could be seen as perpetuating that stereotype. But if this was the legitimate reality of Dylan on this day one, then it's not misogynistic. It's just what their experience was.
Then when someone asked me how I was, I said, I'm fine, when I wasn't fine. How'd I do, ladies? Good? Girl power.
This is why some women find offense to the growing amount of trans women saying that they experience a period.
My period I experience every month is very real.
I think the really crappy thing about having a period every month, this is why some women find it an offense to be called a chest feeder and a birthing person.
A what?
Birthing.
Sorry, a what? Oh, inclusive language. Again, I'm not a trans woman, so I can't unequivocally speak on this one, but I do know that hormonal changes are a thing. And if you're somebody who is on estrogen and taking estrogen, you do experience that hormonal imbalance. Okay, so like this middle creator, for example, trans girl experiences first intense period after hormone replacement therapy. That's what that is. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's play the devil's advocate here. Let's say that they are faking it and lying. All right, then they're a liar if they are. And it wouldn't be the first time that somebody lied online. I'm not saying that I'm excusing it or thinking that it's appropriate, but it would be the reality and it would just be another person who's lying online. Cool. The other side of the equation, okay, let's say that they're actually experiencing pain. Then what? Then they're just sharing their reality. What do we get out of like roasting these people for, like, if they're lying, sure, then they should be roasted for lying. But if they're not, why does this make people upset? Why do TERFs exist? I don't know.
You know.
They're not being roasted though. That's the thing. It's being called out because it makes other people look bad.
They're
that
delusional.
Yes, because somebody that's the trans woman, the person going to become a woman, they cannot experience a period. There are symptoms close to it that they can experience with the hormone replacements, from what I understand.
Yeah,
but it's not a period, so they cannot call it that, or they are lying. So they would be lying.
Right. It's really invalidating because it's like there is a complete and total sacred process.
Yes.
That happens every 28, 30, 32 days. You know.
It has to do with the eggs.
Yeah.
A trans woman would not have eggs.
Right. And I say no uterus.
No.
No period. I mean, no menstrual cycle. I guess you could have a quote unquote period because it's just a section of time in which your body's going through a cycle. And
yes.
I mean, even you guys, even biological men go through that in some way or another. It's just not the same thing.
Yes.
But if there's no uterus with no eggs, then you're not going to have a menstrual cycle. And that pain is completely different. The entire lethargy and the experience of it is completely different. And they minimize that.
Yeah, they do.
By saying that they're experiencing it. And it's like, call it something else. Call it whatever it is that you're experiencing. It is not the same thing.
No, it's not. You can't even try to say it is.
No, it's like...
Because that's mocking what something else is.
That's mocking womanhood to its finest.
Yes.
It's like our bodies sit here for... 24 days, 20 days, creating the perfect space to have
Yes.
a baby. And then at the end of that, if you don't have a baby, it just rips everything out, kicks it down the tubes, throws this whole freaking fit, and it's like a whole process.
Yeah.
You go through tiredness, then you have the bitchiness, and then the bleeding. And that the bleeding it's a whole different thing too. It's like you got to be aware of what your body is, and in our culture, it's like you have to be kind of sequestered away from everybody else.
And these
Isolation.
trans women cannot bleed.
No,
They
no
cannot
uterus.
bleed that way. And if they are bleeding that way, then there's something else severely wrong with them, and they need to go get checked out at the hospital.
Yeah, there was one that I saw a while back that they were like, oh, I have blood, and it's like, then you have an open wound somewhere.
That's pouring blood out of your body.
Perforated.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's like you can't, I'm sorry, I'm like, you just can't have it,
No.
And they said they will sit there and tell us that, cis women can't gatekeep menstrual cycles. And it's like, the hell we can't.
It's science.
Yeah.
It's biology.
But they'll say trust the science, except that science.
Yeah, exactly. They cherry pick what they want.
Yep.
I think the really crappy thing about having a period every month, this is why some women find it an offense to be called a chest feeder and a birthing person.
I've never heard chest feeder, but that means breastfeeder, right? So, and a birthing person because trans men have given birth. Why is that upsetting to you? It's inclusive language that helps everybody.
Quote, birthing people. I've never heard the term before. Can you explain what it means?
And because you've never heard something before, that means it's like outlandish and ridiculous and shouldn't have a presence in the world? No.
There are certain people who do not have gender identities that apply to female or male. So we think our language needs to be more inclusive in how we deal with complex issues.
The TQ plus.
Yes, absolutely. Inclusive language. Here on this channel, we call it the Universal Design for Inclusion. So this is something that I've coined. There's something in education or in city planning and design called the Universal Design for Inclusion. Now, what that means is I want you to picture a staircase into your local subway. And people who are wheelchair users would not be able to or would have a difficult time using a staircase. So they would not be included in the design of that thing. Then I want you to picture a staircase beside a ramp, right? It is inclusive because now that wheelchair user would be able to access your local subway in the same way as their other counterparts who do not need the accommodation of a ramp, right? Still not the universal design for inclusion. The universal design for inclusion would be only having the ramp, because then the people that do not need the ramp in order to access the space can use the ramp and they won't even notice. And then the people who do need to use the ramp and they don't even notice either. It's the design of a thing in order to include everybody in ways that isn't noticed by the people who don't need those accommodations to move around the world. Inclusive language is good for everybody, and you talking.
The problem is we do notice. We notice very well. So therefore, it's not the same thing. And if they think that this is the way to go about it, they need to switch up their thinking because it's affecting other people.
They always talk about creating safe spaces for trans and everything because they don't want them to feel uncomfortable. But how many women have been made to feel uncomfortable?
Exactly.
By their presence.
There's a lot. It's just like the men going into women's restroom calling them women.
Right.
Saying I'm a woman and full beard.
That's what I mean. That's what I was saying earlier. It's
Exactly.
like
Not trying to hide anything.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like
We
that
do
that insults women. That scares a lot of women.
Yeah. I mean, if you're passable or at least even trying.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's been happening forever.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
Yeah.
It's been happening.
There's always been trans people, and they have used each other's bathrooms, and it's like, but they didn't like showboat about it, and they were trying to be passable.
Yeah, see, back then, when it was going on, it would be people that are trying to be passable. It's a gender dysphoria, and it's real.
Right.
It still happens now.
Right.
Because it's not brought attention to.
Right. So those people
the ones that are being brought attention to are just attention seekers. They are not.
Yeah.
Dysphoria or whatever it's called.
Yes, dysphoria.
That's not it. They are attention seekers.
Right.
And they found this way to get attention.
Yeah, it's a platform.
Yes.
And it's like, especially with social media, you get a big following, and like that Lily.
Yes, Lily Rose.
No. It's
unless something was like last name is
But
T.
the one that always has like the hot dogs or the
It's like, come on, you're barely passable. Just not that long ago, you looked like a predator. I think that he might have been. I think that there was some sort of lewd lascivious thing in his past. I'm not really sure there, so I can't really say. But like he looked like a creep, and he just transitioned not that long ago, and he does this nasty commentary, and just it's just
like went to Disneyland one
that's what I'm
time.
thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why go around again where there's kids and stuff, and do these nasty things, and the way that it's packaged, it looks like it's for kids. It's like, so people like that are ruining it for true trans that actually do want to pass and be in public spaces and not be ridiculed. It does affect people.
It really does, yes.
It affects how a majority of like right-wing people view trans issues.
Yes, it does.
And that's half the country. More than half the country.
Yes.
So,
talking about how you don't like inclusive language just shows how you don't care about people who are different from yourself, and that's a sign of immaturity. And it's boring, it's tired, it's 2024. Get it together. Is it really that harmful to you to say birthing person?
Yes.
Demanding to be accepted and validated, all at the expense of biological women. And that's exactly what J.K. Rowling was talking about.
Oh, okay. Again, not that it's good, but it does make me feel better because he's aligning himself with J.K. Rowling, and J.K. Rowling is just a horrendous transphobe. And if you are a biological woman thinking that trans women existing is at your expense, that's wild. You don't own womanhood. You don't own femininity. And again, what do you get out of excluding people?
A woman owns womanhood. That is their full-on right.
So don't tell me what I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. You cannot be a man and like, oh, I'm gonna be a woman. And I mean, that's what the TQ plus community is trying to do. They're trying to say, well, I can say I'm this. Reality isn't reality.
Yeah, my reality is reality. I am
When
a woman
this is-
because I identify as a woman.
This is all mental illness at its finest. We used to have people locked up for this. They used to be in asylums. But that's unethical now.
Yeah.
So of course all of them are out, and this is what happens.
It wasn't so long ago that they would have been. That this was classified as a mental illness.
Yes.
And true trans still identify it as a mental illness.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, because we had, pretty much with the same point that they were locked up. They were also trying to say that gays were a mental illness, and you could, work it out of them and this and that. When we've seen more of that now, that's not the case per se.
It is kind of true though, because we've seen a lot of ones that have found like a Christian path and been able
Yes.
to step away from that. So
And a lot of a lot of them though they still are gay. They just chose the different path.
It's true.
They went the path that they thought would take them to salvation.
So it's like,
And I mean, that's awesome. If somebody can come across that, or if they are with somebody and think that their path will take them, I mean, I won't say any more to them. That's fine.
Yes, because like the aversion therapy and stuff, that didn't work with them.
No.
So it's like it's something that's very hardwired within them.
Yes.
That just can't quote unquote be corrected.
No, it can't be.
And it's the same thing with true trans. It's like it can't really be corrected unless you identify as that other gender and live your life as that other gender.
A perfect one here would be, what's the name of the one tranny?
The one that you always have a better name for?
Yeah.
Offensive tranny.
Yeah, the offensive tranny.
Marcus Dibbs.
Yeah, Marcus. Great example. I mean, he transitioned. You wouldn't be able to tell. He talks about it, and he says exactly what it is.
I think I watched that channel. I think I watched 4 or 5 videos before I found out that he was actually transgender.
If you guys haven't seen his stuff, go check him out. Another great content creator. I mean, we try to watch a bunch of different things to try to get perspectives on every side.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to check this guy out as well.
Yes.
But he just seems to be virtue signaling and spewing the same generic stuff.
And he's trying to tell people, don't hate, don't go to these people.
But
He's doing the same
He's being
thing.
kind of hateful, right? I was going to
Yes.
ask you if it felt like that.
He is for sure. I can tell.
It's kind of catty and kind of like, snide. And I'm
Yes.
like, well, we feel this way. And
Exactly.
And it does affect us. And he's like, well, what do you get, out of doing this? Well, it's not like we're going out of our way to hurt people, but truth is truth.
It is, yes.
And people are being hurt by it.
Yes.
So,
people from something that you don't own the entire existence of. If two cisgendered women sit beside each other, they don't have the same experience of being a woman. That doesn't mean that either one of them is any more or less valid. In the same way that two trans women sitting together aren't going to share all of the same experiences, that doesn't mean that any one of them is more or less valid in the same way. All existence in womanhood is going to be diverse in the same way that all existence in manhood is diverse as well. Tell me you don't have a personality or any hobbies without telling me.
Her tweet stated, if sex isn't real, then there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and I love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth. And like she said, we want to meaningfully discuss these topics. We want to be loved and we want to be respectful. This is about making sense of the world that we live in today. The TQ plus community is effectively changing definitions and meanings, all while calling anyone transphobic if they question it or don't understand it. The erasure of gays. The TQ plus is telling me that men can be women and women can be men. Okay, then what does that make me as a gay man? As a gay man, that's gay because he does not like vagina, he likes penis. What am I supposed to do when I'm confronted with someone that's claiming to be a man but has a vagina?
It's a very limited idea of gender to think that only your penis or vagina is what makes you a man or what makes you a woman. Somebody who loses their penis because of an accident.
No, but it is, okay? I hear what you were about to say, that, well, what if they lose it in an accident? That's a freak thing. Not just that. It's still technically there. The parts were there.
And it's not it's not just limiting it to your actual body parts. There's the chromosomes, the bones, and everything else that make everything up to make male or female.
Exactly, especially the bone density.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. I mean, people will dig you up in, 20
thousands of years.
Thousands of years down the line, and they're gonna look at your bones and they're gonna be like, okay, this was a male.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, wait, it was buried with all this female stuff.
It's like,
but it's got the bone,
style, right?
got the bones of a male. I mean,
the only time that you have a little bit harder time maybe determining that is if it was an adolescent, prepubescent adolescent, because they haven't quite developed, like the girls' hips haven't started to widen. And
yes.
But, you still have the length of collarbone.
You do. There's a lot that says it.
The density is literally thicker for you guys.
Yes.
I don't know why, because our brain shrinks during pregnancy anyway, so we need more space. But yeah, and then the mandible, is considerably larger for males and everything. So that's going to be the same even in adolescent.
Very true.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. We'll never get through it otherwise.
I know.
Does that mean that they're no longer a man? No. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does that, but like, let me tell you, if you purport this, like, if you're that, what am I going to do if I'm only into people with penises? Inclusive language. He would hate that. If you're only into people with penises, then like, you can say that in dating apps. You probably won't get many hits, even from people with penises. It's a really limited experience of gender. Like, this person does seem very young, very not experienced in the world. It has nothing to do with the genitalia of the person. It has to do with that person. And if you can't look beyond the physical stature of somebody, if you can't move around spaces in the sense of like dating without asking what is in somebody's pants, you shouldn't be dating, in my opinion. I am of the opinion as such.
I do understand some of what he was saying. It is more, dating is more than just what the person is. But when you're looking at the situation of he's a gay male, the male that likes another male, I am sorry, but if you have, don't have the part downstairs, then the attraction will not be there. It's not what they like.
Yeah, you have to have some physical, attraction.
Yes.
I mean, it's the same thing if, you were still dating, would you date a trans woman?
No.
Because...
because it's not, they're not the same.
It's not a girl, it's a guy.
And, technically, the main part of dating, marriage, and being is reproduction. that is what the humans were pretty well created for. You know, you're supposed to go on, you're supposed to populate, and that's where it gets me with the child-free people. And I understand some people, that's fine. It's fine. It's what you do. You know, and then there's the regretful parents that we just covered the last time and we were going to today, but this came up.
Yeah,
and it just gets me because the main point of being on this planet is to repopulate.
Yeah, that's from a spiritual perspective as well as
Yes.
biological, scientific perspective.
Yes.
Even more so, a biological, scientific perspective. I mean, it's like, morality aside, that's the point, you know? Like, otherwise we wouldn't be born with all of our eggs and stuff.
You know, and if you're following what this guy is saying, you are kind of selfish because you are looking at yourself. It's like, if you're dating somebody with your preferences, it's what it's supposed to be. It's how it's done. But with this person saying the stuff that he's saying, it is kind of selfish.
It's very selfish, yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's like, he'll talk more about his perspective on that too. He's not into monogamy or anything either, so that's a big part of it.
And I don't understand with.
Hold on. Gotta hear this thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't understand with the gay community too. What was with the promiscuity?
Like risky behaviors.
Yes,
like,
risky behaviors. You know, wanting to do more than one, all this stuff that can cause issues.
Yeah.
That side wants to do more of.
Yeah. Most of my client base was kind of went on that side and just always doing risky stuff. You know? And it's like, why? I don't understand that. So
no.
To me, it tells me that there is some sort of chemical imbalance or some sort of deficiency or something that's wired wrong, you know, that makes them be the way that they are.
Exactly.
I mean, there's straight people that do it too, but it does seem to be more prevalent on the homosexual side.
For sure it is. I mean, yeah, there are some straights that do the same thing. It's always there.
Yeah,
you've always got overreactive people and but it just seems like that way is more.
Right, it does. It's like I kind of tried to look into that more, and it does really just seem to be pretty lopsided.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't understand that. It's not.
I don't either.
But he falls into this category, you can tell.
Yeah.
I'm not transphobic for not wanting to be with a vagina. I'm gay.
Yeah, you are. Like I can't be doing my lip liner while I'm talking about this. To not want to sleep with somebody who has a vagina, but you don't have the right to exclude people with vaginas from this sense of masculinity or manhood. I think that's where.
Yes, you do. You have every right to do that as something that you like yourself. Just because somebody else doesn't like it that way, they have no reason to be stepping in on who you are as a person. I mean, a gay guy cannot look at you and be like, well, you're gay, so I don't know why you're with that woman. That's gayophobic. Homophobic. They have no right to do that. I mean, that's you as a person.
Yeah,
just like they want their own rights, give everybody their rights, not...
You knock on the door.
Give everybody their rights and leave it that way.
It's where the transphobia is present.
For a reason. We have definitions and meanings and words for a reason. It's literally 2023 and you have lesbians being kicked off of lesbian dating apps for being transphobic, for not wanting to be with someone who has a penis.
We are a platform for all lesbians, trans lesbian, non-binary lesbians. You are all part of our lesbian community.
Let that sink in. You have lesbians being kicked off of lesbian dating apps because they're being transphobic for not wanting to be with trans women who have penises. This is what I was saying about the LGB being different from the TQ+. The LGB relies on biology and the TQ+ is all I.
If we're going to make any distinctions, it's between people who engage in human rights and just being nice and kind to everybody and people who are not. I wonder what category this man falls into.
I wonder which way you flow to. Did you just see the way that you acted to this situation?
Say being nice and kind
Yes.
to everybody except for women and gays at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're saying that we're wrong for having preferences.
Yes.
And we're wrong for gatekeeping periods. But that's nice and kind, right?
Yeah, that's nice and kind of him. Yeah.
And they are changing definitions and meanings. Being gay doesn't even mean liking penis anymore. It just means liking men. But
When I was a kid, being gay meant that you. It's funny. It's sorry, that one just hit my funny.
You're brave.
I'm gay because I don't like vagina. Like I don't.
That's not necessarily what being gay means, but I have a lot of life experience that this man doesn't seem to have. So I come at this from a place of understanding. But bro, you got a YouTube channel.
You do not come at this with a place of understanding, because that's exactly what gay means. So,
It's like being attracted to the biology
of the same sex.
Exactly.
That is what gay is.
So, so it's like.
So I don't know what this person is doing.
Sorry, I'm getting really loud here. But like, girl, you got a YouTube channel. People are listening to this. Get it together.
Oh, I don't understand the world that we're living in today. And if you're still watching this, I applaud you, because this shit is mental gymnastics. Because we truly can't, I always say this, we cannot defend something we can't define. Everyone is confused. Like I said before, the LGBT is very clear and concise and easy to understand. We have the definitions, we understand what it means to be a lesbian, a gay person, or a bi person.
Not me. I have no understanding of what it means to be a lesbian. I don't know. I'm getting funny now.
Let it dry, done. The PQ plus, we have no idea. It is forever changing. It is forever.
It's really not. It's really not changing. I understand that completely.
LGBT.
No, it really does change every single day. So, I mean, you can try and lie to yourself, but you can't lie to everybody else. It is changing. We all see it.
PQ plus community is way too big, way too overdrawn, and it does not speak for all LGBT people. This is why you have a growing subset of them speaking up and speaking out against this. And people,
transphobes? That's transphobes.
So we can't separate the LGBT from the TQ plus, because trans people are at the forefront for fighting for LGBT rights.
Yes.
I get it, but here's the deal. Just because a group of people did something good does not mean that group needs to be praised for eternity.
All right.
We all love NASA and space exploration, but I don't see us praising the group who created it. With this TQ plus community, if anybody can be anything at a moment's notice, what is the point of anything? You got people claiming to be trigender.
I am trigender, which means like a triangle, I have 3 genders: male, female, and non-binary.
And we've
Like, sure. Do I agree or identify with that creator that he just put up on the screen? No. But do I have to identify and understand something in order to hold respect for it? No. And that's a big sign of immaturity if you can't do that.
Discuss this in a separate video, but you got the TQ plus push.
Then he is immature too, because he's doing the same thing to him. To Amir. So, I mean, you have to watch yourself and know.
Themselves on children and transitioning children.
No, if you want to hear about my thoughts on that, see any of these other dissenting hate videos here on this channel. Yeah.
If you're trans, then that's fine. You're a grown adult, do what you want, but you need to acknowledge what you are. You can't force the entire world to affirm your identity and say, yes, if you are a trans woman, you are a woman. No, you are transitioning for a reason. Let's be real here. And I'm not going to sit here and be called transphobic because I don't want to be with a man who has.
You're transphobic. He's sitting there and I just called him transphobic. Ooh, I'm bad.
Vagina. Let's cut the crap. When words lose their meaning, it is very easy for society to crumble. We can't function in a society if we're not even having conversations.
Who gave this 12-year-old a microphone? Like I have the same one, which
to have a conversation is.
I'm wondering the same thing of you.
He's kind and accepting and
Yes.
inclusive, right?
Doing the same exact thing. So
have a basic understanding of what the words mean so you can actually converse and talk to one another. But again, we can't do that if we're destroying language.
Do you need to know what's in somebody's pants in order to talk to them? I'm sorry, I can't talk with you unless I know you have a penis.
But we're not talking about talking. We're talking about a physical relationship with these people.
Yeah, I mean, not like, yeah, talking and dating, you should be dating with the intention of being with somebody,
Yes.
right? So it's like, it is kind of like an important thing to disclose. There's been a lot of people who've gotten, like, trans people have gotten killed.
Yes.
Because they haven't, and people fall in love with them, and then they find this out that they're not the same gender that they're portraying.
Exactly.
They kill them. You know, so I mean, it's, again, it is affecting people in real life.
Yes.
Trans people, it's affecting in real life.
Very much so, yes.
If you notice, he's got
The books. I was reading those earlier, yes.
you just saw that. Yeah, like the children's books. No, it's background data.
I touched it.
Penis or vagina? Like, and that's obviously not what he's saying.
Hold on, ladies.
But, well, I guess it kind of was. Because he's like, can't talk with people.
Words even mean us very soon.
Oh,
I just want to
God.
respect.
Just give it a second now.
Yeah.
So you're doing pretty good so far. It's interesting,
Yeah.
To hear from this side of it, but it's really, I don't know. There's a lot of propaganda.
We'll go on to the next one.
Oh.
We'll go on to the next one. We started early, so we can get a little more in.
See if we can actually.
Sense rational conversations. That's all I want.
God, I look good. I look good, Mary. All right, let's finish up here.
Am I trying to be hateful? No. Are a lot of us trying to be hateful? No.
Doesn't matter what you're trying to do. It just matters what you are doing.
Just the LGBT is completely fed up and tired of being lumped into everything that the TQ plus community is doing.
Well,
Even when
you don't speak for everyone in the same way that I don't speak for everyone.
Websites like Glinson and HRC, a lot of the LGBTQ initiatives have everything to do with the TQ plus. I've talked about my concerns. I've talked about my problems with trans kids, but this one's a big one because the LGB keeps getting lumped into the TQ plus, and that plus is so dangerous because people are just adding things to it, and it's just being accepted and okay. And I don't want any part of that.
Well, as long as it's not hurting somebody, what do you care? What do you care? When I lay my head on the pillow at night, does it make a difference to me that one girl or that one person with the blue lipstick from earlier is transgender? Am I really going to be thinking about that? Good God, girl, you gotta get hobbies. I got so much to do. I can't waste my time with that.
DB people who feel the same way. So, as always, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. It means the world to me to have your support. Make sure to subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and like this video. It helps me out a ton. And let me know your thoughts below. I would love to know your opinion on the LGBT versus the TQ plus and any other ideas or topics that you would love to hear me talk about. As always, make sure you're going out there, becoming the best version of yourself, and understand that no one's going to change your world for you. Much love, and I'll see you in the next video.
Well, there's not that much love here. I don't have lashes on. Oh, my knee. Oh, that hurt. All right, here is lash number 1, and here is lash number 2. Let me get my trans fan out here. Here's the finally completed look. It did take me across 3 videos to make this happen. So if you love the sound of my voice, if you're interested in any more of this kind of content from me, subscribe, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, tell me, do you agree with this man and the famously transphobic J.K. Rowling? I keep this trans fan out here for a reason. Now I'm feeling stunning and gorgeous. So now I'm going to go live the rest of my life not concerned with other people do with their own gender identity. And I wish everybody else had the power to do the same. So thank you again for watching. Remember, don't go leave this man hate. But if you want to go challenge his ideologies in an assertive, respectful, and scientific way, sure, go ahead and do it. But don't be hateful. Don't attack his character or talk about his list, because I didn't this whole video.
He's being sarcastic.
Thank you for joining me in this episode of Dismantling Hate. I've been your host, David Bay. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you, babes. And until next time, goodbye.
Hey, David.
Huh?
If shows up with the fan one more time.
Dr. Votten's going off now.
Yeah, he's a catty. He's being a catty bitch. It's like, what was that last comment?
Yeah, I know.
Really?
It wasn't needed.
I just wrote corn.
Being slow on you, huh?
Yeah, it's fine. I stopped it. So I'll let it go for a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you see, this one's quitting corn for Jesus.
It gets a little deep.
Yeah, we'll go over this. You guys know I've done videos on it and the effects that it has on the person and stuff like this. So it'll be interesting to see his views. I mean, I can already tell I'm going to be having my breath taken away because of his point of views. But, we'll try to be as calm, collected, and peaceful as we can through this.
Yeah, because it's like, this again is not coming from a Christian religious perspective, but from a comedic perspective that we come to the same conclusions.
Yes.
Backed by scientific evidence. I mean, even Jordan Peterson has gone over this, talking about the effects of pornography on the brain and how it is damaging in so many aspects of your life,
It's very damaging.
And he does say that in a couple of times, but you can tell for the most part, he's like, well, if it's not hurting anybody, let it
But it is.
And it's like most of these times when you ask somebody if it's bothered them, it's within 5 years of them doing it. You know, just like abortion and everything else. What about 10 years, 20 years down the line when shit starts coming back up again?
Yes.
They don't take that into consideration. And they don't ever ask people that far down the line.
I know.
You know.
And I'll try not to stop it too many times. We'll try to get through this one. We will see what we can do. So we'll see. No promises.
Hello, babies, and welcome back to my channel. I'm David, you're David, we're all David, and welcome to Dismantling Hate, this series where we look at some hateful online rhetoric, and today is no exception. Do not adjust your television sets. There has been a production change. Hopefully it's a little bit more clear. So thank you so much for supporting me. I'm able to put more time and money into my production of my content because of people who are liking, commenting, subscribing to my channel, doing all the things. So thank you so much for the support that you've given me so far. I really do appreciate it. I do see it. I love it. I'm so thankful. Thanks for being here. Okay, back to business.
Okay, I'll stop until you find out.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that everything that is on YouTube is pretty much under the Fair Use Act. I want to find that. Section 29. Oh, it's just his. It's just his. He's saying fair dealing. We call it fair. What is it?
Fair use.
Fair use, yeah. Permits the limited use of copyright-protected material without the risk of infringement and without having to seek the permission of copyright owners. So it's because of the stuff he has in it. So we're going to use that, or, you know, and apparently he's from Canada.
Huh.
I don't even know if that even applies. So.
Here, yeah. All right, good. I just had to make sure.
We're all good.
I didn't want to be shut off.
So Dismantling Hate. Before we get started here, please do not go send any hateful messages to any of the people that I feature in any of my videos, but specifically this creator. Because this video, this is an insane video. This is just, you're not ready, but that's okay, because we're going to do it together. We're going to be talking a lot about corn today.
I just wrote corn.
And we're not going to be mentioning the P word, so I do not get demonetized. Lots of corn. It's corn, stupid. Anyway, so we're not going to waste any time here. We're going to get right down to brass tacks. Now, we are going to be looking at an Instagram account called Renewed Marriage. One of the reels came across my For You page the other night, and I was like, this can't be real. The algorithm is feeding me straight solid gold here, so I'm here to share this cringe with all of you here. Now, Canyon and Sierra, it says, helping you quit corn for good. Fix the damage it has caused within your marriage. Our marriage has been free for 3 years. Get started here. And then there's a link, so let's go ahead and see what's on this link. Imagine you and your spouse feeling closer than ever, working together to raise your children well, fully trusting each other, enjoying precious moments together without getting into an argument over corn. We're Canyon and Sierra Cook, and we're here to help you achieve exactly that. After Canyon tried to quit corn and failed, we decided something had to change. We started as a quest to learn more about what we could do as Christians. Kylie prepped the Christianity kit. To work through our issues has turned into a system that has helped hundreds of couples quit corn for good, move forward, rebuild trust, and confidently show up in their lives and marriage like never before. And then there's a start here button. Should we click it? Should we bite? Let's bite. Yeah, just for $9 a day, you too can quit corn for good.
Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin.
Picture this, you and your spouse having a blah da 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 da. Okay, 39, it gets worse. Okay, no, that's not what we're here for. But there is a short video. Let's see what's happening here.
Hi, and welcome to the Renewed Marriage website. I'm Canyon Cook.
And I'm Sierra Cook, and we're very thankful that you are here, because we know that if you are here, it's most likely that you are struggling with a pornography issue within your marriage. And so that's exactly what this website is going to help you work through to get to the point where your husband can quit pornography for good, not ever go back to it, and for you to feel confident in your ability to leave it in the past, to move forward, to work towards healing and renewing your marriage. And so we have several different resources here on this website to help you do exactly that. And if you do have any questions, please email us at info@renewed-marriage.com, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.
Okay. There's a whole mother loving podcast attached to this as well. We're not going to take a look at the podcast for this video. We're just going to peruse through the Instagram here. But before we do, there's a bigger kind of conversation to have here when it comes to I just wrote corn.
Pause it.
Before we really dive on in.
He looks psychotic.
It does. But yeah, I don't agree with this program either. It's like making money off the street like that is not kosher. It's like, and all you really need to get past something like that is a strong partner.
Yes.
Some sort of directional goal with your life.
Yes.
And most of the time, some sort of spiritual guidance.
Yeah, for the most part.
If they're truly Christian, then they should really only need the Bible. Read through the Bible together and then understand why you can't be doing these things.
Exactly. And I mean, a lot of times that if a guy is looking at corn, it's because, of imbalances within the brain, or, just an upbringing that was devastating. Yes. So once you start working through that stuff,
right,
you'll be able to fix everything.
It's like, it's easy not to go back, So it's like, I'm kind of interested to see what they would sell in this class or this, it's like, come on,
it's taking advantage of, regardless of how you want to look at it. It's taking advantage because you're taking these people's money. I mean, if you were really serious about helping, you would do it for free.
Absolutely.
And then you would just go off of if you need money to still run, you go off of donations.
And that's exactly where we're at. Just if anybody comes to us with needing things, or if we just do our stuff, it's like against the laws.
Yes.
To charge for services. It's like, if we have this knowledge, who are we to get money from it?
Exactly.
It's not kosher. It's not cool. Not halal.
It's not moving that much. They're buffering.
Okay, try to play.
Into their Instagram profile, there's a little bit of groundwork that we need to lay here when it comes to corn in general. So we're going to have a look at an article published by Psychology Today called Corn. Corn is any sexually explicit material, written, visual, or otherwise intended to sexually arouse. Corn has existed for millennia, and today it remains widely available in books, magazines, and audio recordings. But it's most readily found and accessed online. The world's largest corn site claims that in 2018, it had a daily average of 92 million unique users, the vast majority of the males. On a daily basis, 92 million? That's a lot of corn viewing. How does the ubiquity of corn affect individuals and their relationships?
Again, like I said, I've done a whole special on this, maybe two. Yes, the corn industry is a big one. It makes money. It probably could come close to rivaling the pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, I don't know. I never really thought about that. But
I mean, I would imagine with how much is out there.
It's true.
I'd have to look it up to find out, because I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that.
But it's probably true. I mean, it's really kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, but that's the main thing. It's like, if you're doing something and somebody's profiting off of it, then that's the wrong thing to be doing.
Of course, yes.
Is it a harmless pastime or potential addiction? Is it a way to add some spice? Or will it destroy your relationship? The debate of whether corn is detrimental to sexual development and mental health continues to rage as psychologists and others evaluate the validity of corn addiction, a supposed disorder that has no universally accepted diagnosis criteria and is not included under the DSM-5. So now that we've talked about what corn is, we're going to talk about the psychological effects and maybe even a little bit of the neuroscience and why there's so much stigma that is attached to corn consumption. It is, like anything else in our world, can become problematic for a multitude of reasons, which we are quickly going to walk through here. We need to answer the age-old question, is it bad? Let me know in the comments what you think, because I think this is a very divisive conversation, and a lot of people really think it's really bad, and a lot of people don't care, and a lot of people think it's really good. All of these points are very important to include in this conversation about corn before we get into this Instagram profile, because we're going to get all of our batters set up here before batters. God, the amount of jokes that have come up in this filming, and you don't even know because I've edited most of them out because all of them were filthy. We need to line up our batters here and get them ready to just knock every one of these reels out before we get into this Instagram profile. Is corn bad? A 2018 study suggests that around 85% of 1,036 participants reported using internet corn during the previous 6 months. There were 80% men and 26% of women reported consuming online corn at least once a week. I wasn't really aware that there was such a big discrepancy between male and female corn use. I mean, it does make sense because when you think about like kind of the stereotyped corn, it's very men-centered and it's made for men. It's made through the male gaze. But experts cannot agree whether corn can be an addiction or how common it might be. For every study purporting to show a benefit of corn, there is another study disputing that benefit. Many studies rely on self-reports or untested assumptions. And I think that's a really big part of this as well, is that it has to come down to you personally. I hate to quote Dr. Phil because he's problematic for a multitude of ways, but Dr. Phil defines something as normal if it does not affect the daily living of your life. So if you are somebody that engages in watching corn and it doesn't affect your life in any negative ways and doesn't affect the regular functioning of you as a human being, then that something is natural. But there are a lot of pitfalls.
But to be honest, I don't know of anybody that can naturally watch corn and not have any effects on them. I mean, he says that with the whole Dr. Phil thing, and if you can watch it be normal, I've never seen that.
At least not long term.
Yeah.
Like I said, they don't know. You don't know what it's doing to your brain. It's just
You
like
don't.
somebody who eats a bunch of sugar every single day. You won't know until 5, 10, 20 years down the line when all of a sudden it's manifested and you don't know where you went wrong.
Exactly. And they won't do the studies on it because, again, it's another money-making industry.
Yes, I found out that there is a really big gap, but this is a huge gap here. This is between 15 billion and 97 billion. So just say, if you just stick that somewhere in the middle and say 30 billion, 30 million, no, billion. Okay. Now the pharmaceuticals, 1.6 trillion. So there's still a huge gap.
There's still no comparison.
But
I mean,
right there,
corn alone is rising. And
God,
it's obviously becoming big.
The OnlyFans thing,
Yes.
That's all.
But see, each of those platforms will only last, like, what'd you say, like
about 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And then they'll fade.
Yeah. And then there's got to be the next thing, And then remember the Ashley Madison thing, which is not necessarily corn, but still in the market of adult sexuality.
It is.
Pandering and everything. So, it's still a big moneymaker.
It is, for sure.
Falls when it comes to corn that we're going to get to in a moment here. Some potential psychological benefits include increased access to diverse sexual material, destigmatizing sex, sexual empowerment, stress relief, and leisure. I think there is a lens of this where people are thinking like corn is so bad because then our kids get a hold of it and this and that. But if you're a parent, it is your responsibility to monitor the online presence of anybody that is in your care under the age of 18. There are child locks or parental control.
I fully agree with that. It's like, just because an adult looks at something doesn't mean that a kid should have any look at it.
Yeah, but if they find it anyway.
Yeah, they can. And I mean, kids are becoming smarter on devices than parents ever were.
Right. I mean, in his old school, middle school, he had somebody accessing stuff
on a regular basis.
At school.
So
that's how I know it's a problem. When it's starting to trickle down to the youth, regardless of what the parents' beliefs are, and they're doing it anyway, and they're looking up some seriously advanced stuff right from the get-go. That's how you know it's a problem. That's how you know there's something psychologically wrong with it. And it is damaging to people.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's very damaging.
I mean, there is such a thing as erotica. There's been erotic books, and there's been
For
erotic
a long time.
scriptures
Yeah.
for a long time. The Kama Sutra is one of those.
Yes.
But again, those had a specific purpose. There was still the unity of man and woman. Sometimes there was homosexual acts, but like for the most
The connection, yeah.
unity. There was a higher spiritual purpose for it. It's not this nasty 2 girls 1 cup sort of world, that's been going. Oh my god, I saw this Disney meme, and it had Belle, and I don't know who the other one was, maybe Cinderella or something, and then it had the teacup from Beauty and the Beast, and that was what it was titled, and it showed the mother teacup looking at him like, good luck, when it was the 2 girls were holding the cup, and the kids like, oh, that's so bad.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's trickled down into every like mainstream.
It has.
Thing,
It really has.
And that's the problem. It's like it's social contagion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I know of anybody who's been able to watch porn and have a normal existence.
No.
It has like Josh and Carrie were very young. They were only like 22 or something, and he was already having like.
He had to look at it.
Yeah, he had to in order to be with her.
Yes.
At that very young age.
Yes.
And it's like, do you know how damaging that was for her?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
and it is. It even if one person's affected by it, it still affects everybody within that person's life.
Yeah. And it's spiritually tying yourself to people that you just don't know. And
not even that. It's spiritually tying yourself to an internet source, to a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You are bound.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and
slavery.
that's a whole nother way for demons and ghosts to get to you.
Yeah. And if you don't believe in demons and ghosts, then just chalk it up to mental illnesses and instabilities and anxieties and all of those things, which are the same thing,
exactly.
Just labeled differently. Insomnia.
Yes, it's very, very bad.
Erectile dysfunction. Distrust.
Yeah, because then they can't use it unless they do that.
Yeah, unless you're stimulated like to a really high degree.
And I mean, and most of it's fake.
Yeah.
Most of it's not reality of what relationship that you're gonna have.
No. And it's like the angles are made for the camera.
Yes.
It's like those are not legitimate. That is not making love. That is something else entirely.
Exactly.
And it's like that's actually outside of the boundaries of what was intended.
But just look at the typical relationships now with the kids growing up, to where their body counts are rising past 100.
And that's honorable to them.
Yeah.
It's something to be sought after.
Yes.
And it's like then they wonder why later on they can't have a meaningful relationship and why they have anxiety.
Exactly.
And why they're unfulfilled and why they're lost.
Again, you are tying yourself to that many people.
Yeah.
Your energy is still attached to each and every one of them.
Yeah.
It's insane.
On pretty much any device that you can buy out here in the technological landscape. So it is ultimately your responsibility to make sure that you're monitoring the online presence of the people that are under your care, that are under the age of 18, not only just for corn, but there is so much other nefarious nonsense going on online. So this has nothing to do with kids. We are solely talking about consenting adults that are consuming corn in an ethical way. Just wanted to put that out there for you nutheads in the comments. Now let's get into the potential risks and side effects when it comes to the psychological effects of consuming corn on a regular basis. Some potential effects may include body image and the beauty myth. So this is a really big one, right? You look at all of these corn actors and actresses and they have, the beautiful, perfect body, standard body. I put perfect in air quotes because there is no such thing as a perfect human form, or rather everybody is the perfect human form. If we're watching these like Greek gods that look like statues and like ice sculptures out here in corn videos, it's not an accurate representation of the everyman or the every woman. So there is part of it that contributes to a negative body image, and that makes sense. Addiction. So like anything else in your life, you can become addicted to corn. And if, again, like Dr. Phil says, open the door. No, that's not what I'm saying. If it stands in the way of your regular functioning as a human being, it might be something that is worth looking into, and it might be something that is an addiction. So that I can absolutely understand. And then, of course, we have the health benefits. Generally speaking, research on corn and health outcomes is either poorly designed or produces inconclusive results. So a lot of this evidence is highly anecdotal and experiential from people who have gone through these things. But so much, even when it comes to addiction, right? If we think of nicotine in cigarettes, some people have no problem at all just giving up cigarettes cold turkey and they don't even think about it. Some people struggle with a nicotine addiction for decades.
Yes, I know somebody that I have worked for that he can smoke a couple of cigarettes and then not smoke for a year, not even care. I mean, but then I'll just pick one up and have one, and it's like, oh yeah, nice, but doesn't care. I mean, everybody's different with their addictions and with the way that they go about it.
I just don't feel that it starts off as, I mean, okay, like cigarettes, you have to go seek them out.
Yes.
You have to get them from somewhere. Same thing with alcohol, a little bit easier. But with pornography, it is like everywhere.
It is, yes.
And
It's really easy access.
It's so normalized, and it's good for you. It's actually better for you. You need that release and whatever. But it's like then you find out that it's just not true.
Yes.
That the more that you do that, the more that you're like, from a spiritual perspective, you're not letting your chakras rise to the point they should.
And you're doing exactly what the trans community does with that. You're going above and out of reality because none of it's real. Okay, well, the trans people are doing the same thing.
Right.
They're saying that, men can be women, women can be men, even though they don't have the body parts.
Right.
Or they have a different body part.
Right.
I mean, that's going above and out of reality. Again, same thing.
And yeah, I don't know, like I feel that like the addiction thing is, I don't know. I know you can become addicted to the porn, but I believe that the porn just makes you that way.
Yes.
It's not like, I don't know. It's really hard for me to articulate what I'm trying to say right now.
Yeah, no, I'm getting worn out from this one. So we're going to be stopping here. This little set is almost over, so I'll stop when it hits.
Okay. And then we'll look into making videos.
Yeah, we'll do some videos with a lot of this and everything. So we'll finish this part up, though.
Hi, it's me. I'm the one who struggles with a nicotine addiction. It's okay. I have a vape now. I'm vaping.
Oh, douchebag.
I'm aging backwards like Benjamin Button. I'm now a teenager. Anyway, not the point. However, research does show that positive sexuality can increase health in many ways, including lowering blood pressure and improving the immune system. According to the Center of Women's Health, corn can be a part of a healthy sex life. But like many other things in the human experience, it is highly individualized. So if it is something that is assisting you, I think that's fine. And if it's something that is not assisting you, I think that's also fine for you to not engage in that if it's not being helpful for you. Next up, it talks about sexual desensitization. So some analysts argue that chronic or intense corn use may make...
That's it. Sitting over that line. So yeah, and I mean, I fully agree. It's like, different people have different things, but I do not agree that porn of any kind is good.
Yeah, I can't see any benefit to it. Like I said, erotica, manuals, ancient manuals, Sanskrit stuff, stuff that's been written like thousands of years ago that still promotes some sort of higher spiritual calling, maybe, but I don't know.
I think this
especially modern porn.
Yes, I fully agree there. I think this monk has done a fairly good job for what was given in front of me. So, all right, we are about an hour and 18 minutes in.
Yeah.
So it was a longer one. That's good. And that's what I'm trying for now. About an hour, 20 hour, 30 minute, per live.
So we'll think about maybe doing video series reviewing this guy, because there's a lot of really controversial takes that he has, and it's pretty much the antithesis of where you stand morally and everything.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you want to see more of this type of thing or something else that you guys might like to see too, because we do stop and change things up a little bit from time to time and be like, okay, we need this more now.
Yeah.
So let us know if you guys have any more ideas and everything else, or like I know Sancho, you want to do a collab.
Yeah.
Let me know when. If anybody else thinks that they can keep up and wants to, let me know.
So overall, what do you think of this creator?
I mean, he's trying to be above and beyond, but he's just like the rest of them. I mean, he's being just as catty, just as judgmental as any of them.
And from a comedic perspective, I haven't agreed with a single thing that he said. You know, like, okay, maybe a couple things, but I can't remember what they were, but they were very mundane and very obvious things. But
Yes.
I just feel that there's just a lot of the same virtue signaling words and things that's like, really popular in the mainstream Western society today.
Yeah.
And all of those things take you away from any sort of a moral or spiritual center.
It really does, yes, majorly.
And he gets into a little bit more, I know, throughout the rest of this video. And I remember that it really just kind of chapped my ass a couple times, some of the stuff that he said.
So I'm getting out just in time.
Yeah. So think about turning that into a video series for you.
Sounds good.
This next weekend, we need to resume our regretful parents thing.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover on that still, too.
And then we'll be moving on to like the child free by choice people.
I was going to say, but aren't we doing that soon, too? The child free.
Yeah, but it's kind of like all goes together.
Yeah, it does.
It's like why the child free by choice people like to use the regretful parents as their platform for. Do you see why? Do you see why I tell you not to?
Yes.
Have children, because this is what's going to happen to you, and it's not necessarily true. Because I didn't want children, and then I learned after him, and then a little bit later that
it grows on you. I mean, it is the purpose of what you were supposed to do, no matter what people want to say. It is.
And even from a biblical standpoint, they did have child-free people then, but they said to dedicate yourself to a higher purpose, to teach, to preach, to spread the gospel or whatever
exactly.
It was. And that's not what you're getting. What you're getting is, I want to be free. I want to travel. Oh my God, it's so great sleeping in. It's like I get to eat what I want. I don't have to explain myself to my crotch goblins, that sort of thing.
Oh, I mean, we got one and then another on the way here coming up that'll be taking our time up, but we still find ways to sleep in.
Yeah.
On our Sunday mornings, it's like no alarms. Get up when you get up.
And we have animals.
Yeah.
So it's like, we have a lot of responsibilities here, and we still have time to game, and we still have time to nap, and we still have time to be together, and we still have time to be apart. So it's all about what you do with the time that's given to you.
Yeah, it's about how committed you are.
Right. And it's like, oh, I wouldn't be able to travel with a child. You can travel with a child.
Yes.
It's like a little bit more difficult, but you can travel with a child.
You can, fully.
So yeah, that's the big difference between, childless people or child-free people back in the day, 2,000 years ago, compared to what you're looking at in the modern era.
Yes, fully.
And apparently, like, the age of 21, 22 is too young to be getting married and having children now. And I was like, that's exactly the age that I was.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I came from a culture that, my family culture, they discouraged that.
Exactly.
Discouraged children. And it
still felt natural to you.
Yeah.
And you took it up and went with it.
And found great joy.
Yes.
In it every single day, even the bad times. Much more fulfilling. Everybody always focuses on what you're going to lose.
And it took us a while to become a true family, too, because your mother had control over a lot of it for the longest time. And then it's like when we release that bond, now we can be a family. And it's like, my dad's come back into our lives, but he's allowed us to still be a family. Like, he's gone with us places.
Right.
Like our Great Wolf Lodge trip.
Right, but he doesn't micromanage and control.
No, it's like you do what you want. We'll all try to get some stuff done together.
Yeah, right. But you guys hang out together as a family, and he respects that. And like, and that wasn't happening on my side of the family.
No.
So it's like.
No, it was they wanted to hang out with you all the time.
Yeah, right.
And Tristan, they wanted me off to one side, like way over.
And toward the end, it was even me as well. They did not want me to be around as well. They just wanted to hang out with him so that they could pump his head full of stuff and interrogate him until he cried,
Exactly.
So it's like, it was an extremely toxic situation. But yeah, once we were allowed to actually bond and become a unit, everything changed,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to see what I'm up to next. I try to do at least a couple shorts a day, along with the 2 lives. Now, more videos are in the works. I'm trying to get them done. So hopefully we'll have more videos out soon too, especially with this new set of stuff we're wanting to work on.
Yeah, I do have a podcast that we're doing on Mondays, so I can upload that
Yes.
to both channels.
Yes, on Daughter of Otten's channel, we have a new podcast that we're doing on Mondays. So look for that. I'll try to tag it and be like, hey, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
can upload it onto this one too, so you can have it here as well.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's like an even discussion.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody's really leading the discussions.
No.
So it's just like
we get our time
musings
together
and-
on Monday, so it's like we want to try to inquire that into everything.
include.
Yeah.
Inquire means to question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question into everything.
Don't use words you don't understand. It's been a long day.
Yes, it has. All right,
Alrighty.
ladies and gentlemen, namaste.
Have a good night. Good job.
And enjoy your weekend. Remember that.
And don't even go and post anything on this guy's page.
No, don't pay any means to him. We're just going over a few things. There's no need to bash. There's no need to be. I mean,
There's no need to even challenge his ideals.
No.
Like you're saying, telling people to go onto Emir's and go ahead and
challenge him. Well,
Well, no.
there's no need.
Take it in.
Obviously, you're not going to get through to this guy in any other way. He's set in his ways. Let him be. We're just having talking points and going over stuff. That is it.
Just from a comedic perspective.
Yes. So
Have a
again,
good night.
namaste. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you for Woke Wednesday. LongWalker out.